We got home on Monday the 5th. Tuesday, I was in my office deducting my losses from the weekend in my casino ledger. I'm still up $20,000. After that weekend, I swore I'll never play on a holiday weekend. After straightening out a few business tasks, I started making arrangements for my next casino trip. I called Charlie Myers to tell him I'd be coming down early Wednesday morning. "Do you need a room?" he asked. "I'm only coming down for the day," I said. "I'll put you down for one anyway, just in case you change your mind." "There's one other thing," I said. "I'm bringing a lot of cash. What's the best thing to do?" "Deposit it in the preferred player's cashier cage," he said. "When you're ready to play, tell the floor person you have a cash deposit. You'll be able to sign for your money at the table." "That will work," I said. "Let me know what time you'll be here so I can have a security guard waiting at the valet VIP parking area. He'll escort you to the preferred player's cage." An hour later, I was at my bank. The bank manager, Joe Ryan, opens the vault door. I entered and opened my safe deposit box. It was filled with rubber band hundreds. I put all the ones with red rubber bands and the same amount with natural color rubber bands on them in my briefcase, $40,000. The rest of that day, I tried to keep my mind on business, but I kept thinking about Charlie having a security guard waiting to escort me to the preferred player's cashier's cage. I never knew there was such a cage, and how much money did he think I was bringing? When I got home that evening, I told Jackie I was going to New York the following morning. I pulled into the Golden Mines VIP parking area. I stepped out of my Benz with my briefcase in hand. I followed the security guard into the hotel through the lobby, then across the casino floor to the preferred player's cage. I deposited $40,000 in cash. I walked into the baccarat pit, took a seat at an empty $100 table. I called the pit boss over and asked him to make it a $200 minimum to $5,000 maximum. He asked what's my buy-in. I told him $20,000. He made a call and a few minutes later came back and put a $200 minimum to $5,000 maximum sign on the table. I signed the cash withdrawal slip and the dealer started shuffling the cards. This is my biggest buy-in and I'm getting the same game as the high roller did in the Polynesian. I told the dealer to give me half in $100 blacks and the rest in $500 purples. He makes stacks of $100 black and $500 purple chips. He slides them across the felt table to where I'm sitting and says, "Good luck." The game begins and the casino sounds that surrounded me muffled, then died. I could only hear the cards brushing across the green felt table, chips stacking, and the few words spoken from the dealer's lips and mine. Hit it, stick, player breaks, double down, push, split them, blackjack, bust them, and surrender. The first shoe ends and I'm up over $5,000. The second shoe starts and halfway through I gave back what I won in the first shoe. When the shoe ends, I'm left with a few thousand. I signed for the other $20,000 and kept repeating to myself, "Calm down, relax, it's only a game, it's only a game." The third shoe starts and I can't win a fucking hand. I stood up and told the dealer to color me up, I'm done. I walked out of the preferred player's cashier's cage with 3 packs of $100 bills with $5,000 Golden Mines wrappers on them. In less than an hour I lost $25,000, but I wasn't done. I walked down the boardwalk to the Polynesian casino. I entered the baccarat pit, took a seat at an empty $100 to $2,500 table. I opened up my briefcase and dumped on the table the 3 packs of hundreds with $5,000 Golden Mines wrappers on them. It gets the attention of the casino crew. The dealer shuffles. I cut the decks. He ducks the first card out after showing it to me, and the game begins. 1, 2, 3 shoes go by, and I'm up over $9,000. I'm halfway through the 4th shoe, and I'm betting the limit $2,500. All of a sudden, out of nowhere, the pit starts filling up with Asian gamblers. They're jumping in and out on my shoe. They're smoking cigarettes one after another. Before the dealer takes his card, they bang the table, shouting, "Monkey, monkey." I waved the pit boss over. When he got to the table, I said, "Can't you stop these rude pricks? They're jumping in and out like kamikaze pilots. It's how they gamble, Mr. V. There's nothing I can do." "Fuck this." I gather up my chips and stormed out of the pit. I left their preferred player cashier cage with over $25,000. Now I'm out on the boardwalk walking down to the Coliseum Hotel and Casino. I've been in this joint before, but not to gamble. It's the middle of the afternoon and the baccarat pit's busy. There's 6 blackjack tables and 2 baccarat tables. 4 of the blackjack tables have players on them. 2 are empty. I sat at one of the empty $100 tables and called the pit boss over to negotiate. He put a $200 minimum to $5,000 maximum sign on the table. I open my briefcase and dump 5 packs of hundreds with Polynesian $5,000 wrappers on them. The dealer shows me the first card before he ducked it and the game begins. The first hand I get 2 kings for 20. The dealer has 8 of clubs showing. I stick. He turns his whole card over. It's a 5 of hearts for 13. He takes his next card and it's a 2 of diamonds. Now he has 15. His next card is an ace of spades for 16. Kiddingly, I said surrender. He slowly turns his next card over. It's a 5 of hearts. He made a 5 card 21. I'm hoping this ain't a sign of things to come, and it wasn't. I'm winning 2 and 3 hands in a row while losing 1 or 2 in between. The last hand in the shoe, I bet the limit, $5,000. I get an 8 of spades and a 3 of diamonds for 11. The dealer has a 7 of hearts showing. I put up another 10 $500 purple chips and said double down. The dealer takes the next card out of the shoe and lays it next to my 11. It's a 9 of clubs, now I got 20. He turns over his whole card, it's a 7 of hearts for 14. He turns over the next card out of the shoe. It's another 7 of hearts for 21. I couldn't believe it, 3 fucking 7s. I took inventory while the dealer shuffles a new shoe. I'm a few grand short from the $40,000 I came down with. I didn't want to leave the table, but I had to take a leak. I asked the pit boss if he'll keep an eye on my chips while I go to the men's room. He said you won't have to go far. He points to the back of the pit where they have a private bathroom. I went to the bathroom, did my thing, and when I came back, there's this nerdy-looking dude sitting in the anchor seat. Yo, I'm playing head up here, I said. He points to another empty table on the other side of the pit and says, if you want to play head up, play over there. I looked over at the pit boss for some help. He rolls his eyes. I told the nerd to go fuck himself. I colored up my chips. I was gonna leave, but I wanted to play, so I went over to the empty table where there's an Asian dealer, Lee, and a red-headed floor person, Sue. I took a seat and the Sue the floor person put a $200 minimum to $5,000 maximum sign on the table. While Lee's shuffling, he asked how I was doing. I'm having a fucked up day, I said as I pointed to the nerd who's now arguing with the pit boss. I'm winning over there then, that Putz jumps in. Before that, I'm in the Polynesian, winning. All of a sudden a bunch of your people start jumping in and out of the shoe. They were monkeying me to death. Lee smiles and says, monkey bring luck, face card you win, dealer break. Luck, I said, it brought me a headache. Lee finishes shuffling. I cut the decks, the game begins. In no time I'm pressing to the limit. I'm winning big with blackjacks and double down hands. When I didn't get a good hand, Lee busts. His chip rack is running out of $500 purple chips. Out of the corner of my eye, I see Sue, the floor person, motioning to the pit boss in the back of the pit. She's covering her lips, but I can read them. Get over here, she said. You're not going to believe what I'm seeing. 2 security guards come into the pit. One is pushing a cart that's full of $100 and $500 chips. Lee's refills his chip rack. The game goes on, and I continue winning. The shoe ends. I push my stacks of chips across the table to Lee. Color me up, I said. The pit boss and 2 other gentlemen corral me. The pit boss introduces himself and the others. I'm Tom Davis, he said. The gentleman here to my right is night manager Howard Cooper. The gentleman to my left is casino host Skip DeRica. I shook hands with all 3. The manager and pit boss go back to work. Skip gives me his card and starts pitching. Let me know if you want dinner, he said, or if you want to stay over this evening. Our suites are the most prestigious in Atlantic City. Before leaving, he said to give him a call the next time I'm coming in. He left and Lee finished coloring up my chips. I pointed to my chips and asked Lee how much I got there. He said 80,000 in purples, 400 in black, and $75 in green. I'm staring at Lee's newly filled rack, then at my stack of chips thinking what kind of game would they give me using that for my buy-in. I waved the pit boss over. When he gets there, I point to my stack of chips and said, what kind of game will that get me? He walked away, then came back and changes the sign on the table to $300 minimum to $10,000 maximum. The casino crew watched with great anticipation. I looked at Lee and said, shuffle them. I sat back down and the cocktail waitress comes back with another Perrier water I ordered. I put one $25 green chip on her tray. I looked around the pit for a clock, forgetting casinos have no clocks. So I looked at my watch. It was 8:15. Shit, Jackie was expecting me home by now. I asked if I could make a phone call. The floor person brings a phone from the back of the pit. I flipped around a small stack of purple chips with one hand as I held the phone to my ear waiting for Jackie to answer. Hi, babe, I said. I'm running late, just finished dinner. I have some loose ends to tie up. I should be leaving New York in the next hour. Make sure everything is locked up. I love you. I love you too, she said. Drive carefully. Lee puts the cut card in front of me. I pick it up and cut my destiny. I put 4 purples, $2,000 in the circle in front of me. I looked up at Lee, smiled, and said, let them roll. My chips start depleting fast. My hands are shaking, but I keep firing them in and losing. I never seen a dealer get so many blackjacks, 20 and 21 hands. I lost my last bet with my remaining $500 purple chip. I left the baccarat pit with my tail between my legs. I walked down the boardwalk to the Golden Mines and picked up my Benz. It was a long ride home. I was pissed at myself for staying and pissed at those assholes, the manager, pit boss, and casino host. They deliberately came over to feed me all the bullshit about what they could do for me. I gotta always remember that the employees in the casino are the enemy. With their friendly smiles, it's their job to keep you there for as long as they can, offering you the apple, hoping you'll take a bite. What was I thinking? Fuck. Everything I won in the last month, $20,000 of my money plus the $40,000 I was up before I set back down. Fucking 80 G's gone. What the fuck? Those bastards brought more chips in on purpose. They were chumming for a glutton, and I bought in, hook, line, and sinker. They knew the longer they kept me at the table, as high as I was from that big win, I'd buy in again. Those bastards done their jobs well. They kept me there with my casino high at its peak, knowing I wanted to get higher. They had absolutely no sympathy for a dumb fuck who didn't know when to quit. I was so fucking high that I wasn't thinking straight. I know this is gonna sound crazy, but by the time I got home, I chalked it up as a bad experience and one that I wouldn't forget. God damn it, if I would have caught a shoe like the one before I set back down with a $10,000 game, I would have won $250,000. I went straight to my bank the following morning and cleaned out most of my $100 packs with regular rubber bands on them. 45 minutes later, I was entering Atlantic City,